From the Zoomerplex in historic Liberty Village, the Zoomer with Marissa Lennox.
Welcome to the Zoomer. I'm Marissa Lennox. Now, you might think substance abuse is a problem of youth. But recent studies show that in adults over the age of 50, it's one of the fastest growing health threats. A 2022 survey by the Canadian Longitudinal Study on Aging found that binge drinking affects a staggering 28% of middle-aged and older adults. But it's not just alcohol that's causing concern. A recent Canada-US report found a disturbing trend in opioid-related hospitalizations, showing a 27% surge from 2016 to 2021 with no signs of slowing down. And according to a new report by the Canadian Institute for Health Information, 25% of seniors are taking 10 or more prescription medications, leading to a worrying rise in chemical dependency, as many are becoming addicted to the very drugs intended to relieve their pain or manage their medical conditions. It's an issue that is often overlooked because substance abuse among older adults is not as visible or widely discussed as it is among younger populations. And so on today's show, we will bring attention to what experts have dubbed the silent epidemic, and we'll ask, what is an addict and why, despite appearing counterintuitive, more and more older adults are struggling with addiction? But first, we begin with the story of a man who has dedicated his life to helping others overcome addiction and who knows firsthand the challenges that come with addiction recovery. Bobby Merrier is a sobriety coach and has worked with many high-profile individuals, including musicians, athletes, and politicians, among whom was the late Rob Ford, the former mayor of Toronto. Bobby joins me now, and it is good to have you on the program. Now, you are in recovery. How did it all start for you?
Well, how did it all start? I ended up in a hospital. And when I woke up from that, it could happen to anybody. The denial was very strong in me. I always think of my two brothers by my hospital bed. They'd been there for weeks, and this happened in Los Angeles. My brothers are from Montreal. I was in such denial about what was going on. I was like, it's completely acceptable. So from there, I went to a detox because I was opiate addicted. My drug of choice is cocaine, but it just started to mix them up as you got further.
How old were you when you started those hard drugs?
The first time I did cocaine, I was 15.
Where do you even begin to find cocaine at the age of 15?
Well, it was available and we found it. And I think I told you earlier today that we met the four guys that were in that room. One's in recovery and two are dead. So it started young. And I know for me, I come from a good neighborhood and I have good parents. There was no big, effects of any addiction in my home, at least not by my mother and father. So when you ask me how I came into it, I didn't come in on my own volition, and I came in sort of kicking and streaming. I'll be honest with you. I went to treatment, figured I'll get these people off my back for a while and do what needs to be done, and I'll just go right back. And somewhere along the way, it started to feel better. And maybe for the first time in my life, I was in touch with my emotions. They say that when you become addicted, you stop growing emotionally. So there was a 15-year-old man-child that was 39 years old in reality, and I didn't have an idea who I was. The identity crisis was really, really, it was scary at the time. It's like an after-school special. Now I laugh at it. It's like, oh my God.
Is that the vulnerability that sort of conspired to get you to the point of addiction?
I would tell you that, no, I think I like doing drugs. I identified I'm going to be this. I'll take it now, ask questions later. And then the addiction really starts to take hold. I didn't realize, I think now that I was addicted the day I used. I look at it that I was born with this to a certain extent. And then it really took charge of my life. Everything surrounded around the procurement or using of. I left jobs or went from one job to another, but I never actually lost anything.
So today you are a self-described sobriety coach. What is that?
And being a sobriety coach, you try and help people, reintegrate into life. Pitfalls are going to happen. I always say there's a stiff breeze coming for any one of you. Life is going to continue to happen whether you're in recovery or not. But if you want to stay recovered, you better be ready for there's a stiff breeze. You better lean into it.
Are there some individuals that are more difficult to work with than others because of the drug of choice? Or for many reasons?
There was some, there's a lot of denial around. Alcohol is the most abused drug in the world. We all think, well, because it's legal. How can it's extremely abused. It's also extremely dangerous. Some people feel entitled because it's just alcohol, stuff like that. The hardest people are the ones that really believe that there isn't that big a difficulty. Maybe they haven't felt enough. Maybe they're incapable of looking at, show me any addict, and if they have loved ones or anyone that cares about them, those people are hurting. So, and like I didn't know anything about, look, I'm 39 years old, I have low self-esteem, and I'm self-centered. Congratulations, this is where you're starting from.
Offline, you told me the fastest segment of growth were retirees.
Retired people are unbelievably growing, and it's a compound thing. Because, they've been myopically focused on, let's go get married, buy a house, all the things that society tells us, these constructs, and raise a family, and either become, very much, I don't know what the roles are in the household, it depends, but really driven towards a goal. And then when they reach their retirement years, the pandemic retired more people at once than we've ever had in our generation. We retired tons of people. All of a sudden, good old alcoholics are pulling up more than anything else. They didn't have anywhere to drink. The older people, I've got a family member that's dealing with this now, and it's just a bit of pot, it's just a bit of this. He has never taken the time in his life to look at his own personal journey and what went on. Some of it can be trauma. There's so many things that can drive the person's unhappiness. Alcohol is a suppressant, all right? You're not gonna get any happy drinking it at all. And then there's the other part, like you're drinking alcohol, and most of our older segment are on medications.
Right.
If you're on any type of benzo, you're gonna be turbocharging the benzo. You feel a buzz from it. If you're on any type of opiates for pain, you're going to have a buzz from it. So now you're getting this co-addiction happening, and it's really starting to make the problem a lot bigger.
And I think it can also be hard to identify that addiction. But after the break, we'll talk about some of those triggers and how to identify it, and the panel will join us on the other side. That's next.